How are you doing today? Today we're going to go ahead and read the article U.S. Elections 2020, A Guide to the Race for the White House. Okay. Image 1, President Donald Trump gives a speech at a campaign rally in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, January 14th, 2020. Trump is running for re-election. Photo by Evan Vucci for AP. This is written by The Guardian, adapted by Newsella staff. On November 3rd, 2020, Americans will lead to the polls and vote. Here is an overview of the election process. What's the 2020 election all about? The presidential election is the main event. However, voters will also decide which party will control the U.S. Congress for the next 2 years, as well as which party dominates in state legislatures and governorships. The big question, though, is whether Trump can win re-election. All eyes are on the Democrats and candidates they will nominate to take on Trump. In 2016, Trump won an unexpected victory over Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. Trump secured swing states or states that do not have a clear party alignment, such as Florida and North Carolina. Blue states, or those that historically vote Democrat, turned red for Republican, including Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. In 2020, however, the candidates will be different. The issues are different, and the electorate, all those entitled to vote, has changed. Democrats will also try to maintain the majority of the House of Representatives, which all 435 seats are up for election. They will also see if they can take control of the Senate, where 34 of the 100 seats will be voted on. Elections will also be held at the local and state level, including 11 elections for governor. Who can vote? There are more than 250 million people of voting age in the United States in 2020, an electorate much different from the one in 2016. This election's voters will be more racially diverse and younger than ever. They will consist of about 33% non-white voters and 10% Generation Z voters, defined as those between the ages of 18 and 23. In 2016, about 42% of Americans who were eligible to vote decided not to or were blocked from voting. However, given a surge of turnout in the 2018 midterm elections, 2020 could be an expanded electorate. At the same time, experts say voter suppression and gerrymandering may have hindered Democrats in 2018 and may continue to counter the effects of more enthusiastic voting base. What's about to happen? Since January 2019, more than 20 Democratic candidates have campaigned for the party's presidential nomination. Although several have since ended their campaigns, this race had a record number of female contenders. Candidates include Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, and Vice President Joe Biden. Candidates have the opportunity to present their platforms in a series of moderated debates to the public. Most debates have qualifications for polling or fundraising numbers that candidates must meet in order to attend. Over the course of several months, the race is narrowed slightly as candidates have dropped out due to lack of funding or low polling numbers. On the opposite side, Trump has faced little Republican opposition for the nomination. What are the primaries? The primaries and caucuses are a series of elections in all 50 states, as well as Washington, D.C., and outlying territories, by which the party selects its presidential nominee. Most states hold primary elections in which a party's voters cast votes. They go to a polling place, mail in their ballots, or vote online, depending on the state. The goal for the candidates is to secure a majority of delegates whose task it is to nominate the candidate at the national convention. In some states, delegates are awarded on a winner-take-all basis. Other states split their delegates proportionally among top winners. The goal for candidate is to win early voting states and create name recognition with the public and a sense of growing popularity or momentum. What's a caucus? A handful of states hold caucuses instead of primaries. These community meetings last for hours with multiple rounds of balloting in which voters can switch sides until one candidate emerges as the victor. The primary season typically begins with the Iowa caucuses, followed by the primaries in New Hampshire and South Carolina, and caucuses in Nevada. The importance of a strong showing in these states is why candidates spend so much time campaigning there early on. Iowa held its caucuses on February 3rd, 2020. A total of 13 states will vote in primaries on so-called Super Tuesday on March 3rd, 2020. And after that, the identity of the Democrat who will be nominee might be clearer. Okay, then what? After the primaries, each party will hold a national convention to officially nominate their candidates. The conventions are a mix of political business, theater, and political party, as well as going to actual parties. Delegates from across the country converge on a city, fill hotels, restaurants, and bars, and hold meetings. Politicians and celebrities show support of the party's candidate at the conventions, topped off by candidate giving a speech on the final night, followed by confetti and balloons. It is all designed to look great on TV. The 2020 Democratic National Convention will be held July 13th through the 16th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Republican National Convention will take place in Charlotte, North Carolina, August 24th through 27th. Then it'll finally be election day, right? Not even close. The general election for president enters a new intense phase after the conventions. It's even possible that a significant third party candidate could enter the race and earn a strong following in the general election, as was the case in 2000. Then, third party candidate Ralph Nader was accused of drawing voters away from Democrat Al Gore in key swing states. When the two major party candidates are chosen, the race for the cultural presidency narrows. The actual presidency narrows down to where the campaign and which voters to chase. There will usually be a handful of TV debates in which the candidates for president and vice president respond to questions. Finally, on November 3rd, 2020, the American people will cast their votes and final decision will shift to the Electoral College. Now, how does the Electoral College work? The Electoral College is the name for the voting system that determines who will be president of the United States. Each of the 50 states, as well as Washington, D.C., is given a specific number of electoral votes, 538 votes in total. This figure is based on the 2 Senate seats plus the number of congressional districts in each state, which are all based on population counts. A candidate needs a majority of electoral votes, 270 if all 538 are cast, to win outright. The way electoral votes are distributed means rural states with small populations proportionally get more electoral votes for president than states with larger populations. California, for example, gets 1 electoral vote for every 700,000 people living there. Wyoming, on the other hand, gets 1 electoral college vote for every 166,000 people. With the exception of Maine and Nebraska, the candidate who wins more than 50% of the state's popular vote gets all of the electoral votes. If the candidate wins by a large margin, the Electoral College gives its stamp of approval. If the popular vote is close, though, the Electoral College system can become controversial. The Electoral College system makes it possible for a candidate to get enough electoral votes to win, even if they receive fewer popular votes. For example, Clinton received almost 3 million more popular votes than Trump in 2016. Trump, though, won 304 electoral votes to Clinton's 227. Now, key dates for the 2020 elections. February 3rd, Iowa caucus. March 3rd, 2020, Super Tuesday in Alabama, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Georgia, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, and Virginia hold the primaries. And November 3rd is Election Day. Thank you. Bye-bye.